Okay, we'll call the Winchester Board of Education meeting September 10th, 2024 to order at 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Why don't we do roll call, please? Shane?
Shane Cinchella.
Jeanette Broder.
Jonathan Morhart.
Sandra Strubark.
Nora Mukarski?
Renee Waldron.
Tori Lavetri.
Okay, thank you. Agenda review, item 4. Is there anything to add or take from the agenda? Okay. Seeing none. Item 5, comments from the chair. As you well know, that we've started a whole new school year, and it's been, we're up and running. I mean, it's kind of like hitting the ground running, and I really do appreciate the administrative time, the administrative support, and the hard work that Freeman, our interim superintendent, has put together and coordinated the opening of the school system. Thank you, board members, in engaging in what was 3 evenings of interviews for the search for our permanent superintendent. I know it takes a long time to read those packets, the deliberations that we've had, the conversations that we've had on how to proceed, and thanks, Sandra, for organizing. And Mary's back there. Thank you, Mary, for helping us out in that process. I think that process is, we'll discuss later on tonight, but thank you for all of that. Just another thing for the board, so you know, teacher negotiations will start this Friday. That's the first meeting. Is it next Friday? 16th, my apologies. Not, I think Friday, 16th. Okay. We'll begin to work towards that direction for a new teacher contract, so just so you're aware. Okay. And that's really, it's an exciting time for Winchester. It's certainly a turning point for us, one that we're embracing and we're definitely excited for. And it brings new opportunities for us. And we're going to hear something about our student performance that I think is going to be very empowering, and I think we're going to be very proud. Okay. Then we'll move to public comment. Item 6. According to policy 1120, Winchester Board welcomes you to its business meeting. 2 opportunities set aside to hear comments from the public. We welcome anyone. Public participation is a valued part of the communication and input with the Winchester Board of Education. We appreciate your adherence to the following. Complete the requested information on the sign-in sheet in front of us. If you wish to speak, have your name, your address, and email listed there. State your name and address when called upon to speak. You are allotted to 3 minutes to share your comments. Please be advised that it's not the practice of the Board of Ed to engage in dialogue regarding commentary. The superintendent of schools will be directed by the chairperson to prepare an appropriate response in a timely manner. We appreciate your time and thoughtful commentary. Does anybody wish to speak? Does anybody wish to speak? Does anybody wish to speak? Okay, seeing no public comment. We'll move on to item 7, consent agenda items and possible actions. Item A, minutes of the Board of Ed meeting on August 13th. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Okay, Jonathan. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Sandra? Do we have any discussion on edits, deletes? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, let me make sure. You're abstaining? Make sure I'm 6-0 abstention, 1, okay. There's, how many of us here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 of us here. Got the math right. Okay, very good. Item B, minutes of the committee meeting from August 27th. I'll take a motion to move that. To accept.
Take a motion. Second.
Okay, Tori and Jonathan. We do have an edit there, though we have to apply to it. Okay, Sandra, are you ready?
So we need to add for the acceptance of the minutes from the May meeting, and that was Shane first and Jeanette second for the approval of the minutes from May 28th.
Okay, so that's everybody, packet page 8.
Yep. Number 4.
Okay, to add that edit. And the vote was 7-0 for the approval of the minutes, okay? Okay. Any other edits to the policy minutes? Okay. Tori first, Jonathan second. All in favor of the passing of the minutes with edits? Okay, that's 7-0. Okay, thank you. Okay. So now we move into item number 8. Okay? What item 8 is really looking for is a motion to move into executive session as a Board of Ed, the Winchester Board of Ed, concerning the appointment of a superintendent of schools for the Winchester Public Schools. I'm looking for a first and a second in favor of the motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Okay? Jeanette and Jonathan on the concerning of the appointment of the superintendent. All in favor for executive session? That is unanimous. That's 7-0. At this time, it's 7:07. We're gonna go into executive session. Okay? I guess we'll keep the video rolling, right?
Yep.
All right. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Don't kill yourself, how are you? I'm well. Hi.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shake you.
It's okay. It's okay, it's actually feeling well. I have surgery coming up on the 25th. In and out. So, you know,
Is it rotator? No,
I got 3 different things going on, but I've,
yeah, thank you, good point.
thank you, everyone. What I'd like to have is a motion to come out of executive session at 7:20.
I make a motion to come out of executive session
Second
at
that.
7:20.
Okay, and Shane, thank you.
Renee.
Renee and Shane, all in favor of executive session ending? Okay, thank you, 7-0. Okay, item number 9. Here we go. It's the possible action concerning the appointment of a superintendent of schools for the Winchester Public Schools. I'm looking for a motion and adoption of the following motion. Moved that the board appoint Dr. Julie Luby as superintendent of schools effective September 23rd, 2024, and continuing through June 30th, 2027, subject to the following conditions. 1, approval of the Commissioner of Education in accordance with Section 10-157 of the Connecticut General Statutes, and 2, satisfactory completion of all statutory requirements concerning the hiring of a Board of Education employees, and move further that the chairperson be authorized to finalize and execute the proposed employment contract with Dr. Julie Luby on behalf of the board.
I will make that motion of everything that you just said.
I will second.
Sandra and Jonathan, okay. At this point, we're going to move into discussion on that motion. But I'd like to say to the community as chair of the board, tonight you're watching the Winchester Board of Education engage in one of its most important roles, that is to hire the superintendent of schools. After 5 months of working together and with the leadership of both Sandra and Mary, our CABE consultant, we're finally here today at the end of that road in our search. Today, we welcome a person who we expect will play a vital role in our community. On behalf of the Winchester Board of Education, it's my great honor and privilege to welcome Dr. Julie Luby as our new superintendent of the Winchester Public Schools. Dr. Luby comes with us with a wealth of experience and expertise that we know will serve our community well. Most recently, she served as Associate Director of Talent and Management and Development in the Milford Public Schools. Following an impactful 5-year tenure as an Assistant Superintendent of New Fairfield, Dr. Luby has also led as a building principal at the elementary and intermediate and high school levels, giving her a well-rounded perspective on the needs and challenges at all stages of student development. Her journey in education started in the classroom, where she taught English language arts, mathematics in Norwalk, Fairfield, and Region 15 public schools. Her hands-on experience as a teacher, curriculum specialist, and leader has clearly prepared her to guide our district with both heart and vision. Dr. Luby's academic background is equally impressive. A graduate of Lehigh University, she holds a Master's of Art in Teaching and a Certificate of Advanced Studies in Administration from Sacred Heart University, as well as a doctorate in Educational Leadership for the American College of Education. She's also participated in the Executive Leadership Program at CCSU, demonstrating her commitment to continuous learning and professional growth. In selecting Dr. Luby, Winchester's Board of Education took into account the voices of our community, listening to input from interviews, focus groups, surveys, and the process was extensive, including a look at 12 potential candidates. We are thrilled that Dr. Luby stood out as a perfect fit for Winchester. Dr. Luby and your daughters, welcome. We do welcome you to our family. We look forward to collaborating with you, and our students and staff and our entire community look forward to future growth and excellence. Your passion for education and dedication to student success is evident, and we are confident under your leadership, the Winchester schools will continue to thrive. Welcome. Would anybody else like to say anything? No, we haven't voted. We have not voted. I just wanted to throw it out to the board members.
Usually we're not this quiet.
Okay. Okay, so Sandra first, that motion, Jonathan second. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Unanimous. Congratulations. Now we see it. And let's have a little recess for some cake. We've got some cake. Renee brought us some cake.
Thank you.
Do we have to negotiate recess or? What's that? Yeah, all in favor of recess?
Second.
Okay. A recess at,
Okay,
7:25.
7:25, okay.
7:25 recess. did all in favor? I did, okay, Jonathan. All right. Let's eat cake.
Let them eat cake, yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I had a very good conversation with her on Friday afternoon, about 45 minutes. Today, I invited her to the commissioners back to school meeting, so she came to talk for their initial who's the head of the Community Association of Public Schools. Superintendent. Just like, I brought, you know, they had a transition with mouth cover. But I was, since smooth as possible. Thank you.
Well, certainly
Check out some of the new stuff. Have a multitude here.
finding talent and recruiting people to the district. So that's HR. And assistant superintendent, person who work with those organizations, really just how to such. We need somebody to have that level. Plus, no instruction in the business major. Because our background as a teacher in ELA, that was strong for us. And then having experience in finance. That's the best place to be. It was very exciting. Yeah, you're very welcome, very welcome.
Spoke with her for 45 minutes on Friday, and we had a really good conversation today. Back at school meeting. So Jimmy had an opportunity to meet with the commissioner, thing where they
Last week. Good.
Oh, thanks, Mary. Appreciate it.
Camping and fishing. Nothing crazy. My third. We did it, yeah.
at this time, we'll return from recess. All in favor of returning from recess? All right, and cake. Thank you very much for the cake. Okay. I do want to say that I do want to recognize Hannah and Ally coming out here from Manhattan, as well as from Central, to celebrate with their mom today. It was really good to see you, and I'm hoping you enjoyed the cake. And Dr. Luby, do you have a few more words if you want to say a few things?
I do. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for the appointment. Thank you for picking me. And I am really honored to be here. I was just explaining actually to the reporter that I said, well, why do you want this job? And I said, well, you know, my career led me to want to be a superintendent and have that degree of impact. But it really was the interview process that led me to want to be a superintendent in Winchester. With the research that I did, the meetings that I watched, all of the pieces that came together, and then the interview, and meeting each of you, and listening to your questions, you can learn a lot about people from what they ask. And your questions were thoughtful, and they guided me to understand what you were hoping to find in a superintendent. And really, in that listening and through those questions, and they weren't like stock questions, like I don't think you would get the exact same questions in a different district. They were Winchester questions. And as you asked the questions, it really led me to say, this is such a good fit, and I would love this work. So I'm tickled pink that we're gonna get to work together. I'm so excited to get to know each of you as individuals, and then work with you collectively to figure out what it is that we're gonna be able to do, and then look back and say, look at what we did. And I know, from what you've all shared, from what Freeman has shared, and from what I've seen, the administrative team here is fabulous, and what an exciting thing to be able to step into a district with a great team and learn where we are and what we think we wanna do next. So I couldn't be happier.
Great.
And I so appreciate Kate and all of the support, and it really means the world to me.
Thank you very much. Thank you for those words, too. So Dr. Luby's going to go and celebrate with her family, and that would be awesome, and we'll be here. Thank you again for coming in. Thank you, Mary.
Good night, everybody. I'll watch the reruns with the popcorn.
Okay.
Should be exciting.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. All right, very good. All right, item number 10, Gilbert report from Board of Ed representatives, if there's any.
Yeah, so I think main things were it's the kickoff of the new school year. So that was the first meeting right before school started. I think we had just started actually. There really wasn't much. What's that?
Lean in a little.
There wasn't too much to report. There are teacher negotiations, which are being finalized now. Again, just a good summer was had, I think, up at Gilbert. And I think we had agreed upon policies for the Title IX. Other than that, there really wasn't much to report. Just everything was on track and ready for the start of the new school year.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Item 11, superintendent report, action items, discussion, possible action, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My report is brief because I'm going to do a little presentation a little bit later in the meeting. But just to update instructionally, we had an instructional cabinet meeting this year. I've expanded the instructional cabinet to include coaches, assistant principals, assistant special ed director, et cetera, along with the principals, finance director, you know, trying to make it larger, more inclusive. So in the meeting, we went over some ground rules, and that was giving everyone a voice, input about the district relative to their perspective. Additionally, we covered some topics such as the new professional educator evaluation plan, we also covered the core knowledge language arts program that's being implemented this year. The acronym is CKLA, okay? Some of you who may go back as far as I do may remember core knowledge, okay, which has been around for a very long time. If you don't know it by that name, you may remember 20 or 25 years ago, it was around as what every first grader should know, what every second grader should know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now there's been a well-researched development along with the science of reading on the core knowledge language arts program. And that's what the district last year chose to implement, and they'll be implementing it this year. And the coaches are critical to that end, but also obviously the principal leadership, assistant principal leadership at the schools are critical as well. We also did, thanks to Cassandra, have an update for Title IX for everyone in that expanded cabinet meeting so that everybody was clear. I must also say it was just a reinforcement because I think I shared with you last month the majority of people that we had actually attend the presentation, the webinar that was beyond the webinar. It really lasted from 9 to 12, but it covered not only the policy, it covered the decision makers, the investigators, the whole 9 yards. And it is important because obviously if we get Title IX complaints, we need to follow the procedures that have been outlined. I'm going to move on because the next item I have, we are in the throes of the iReady assessment, okay? So this will be the baseline assessment for our students. When I was here in June, I saw the whole year when Melanie had the principals present. So you saw, and I think you also had a mid-year, but the initial assessment starts right in September. It's being administered right now. And then there'll be a benchmark assessment mid-year along with the final assessment. I apologize, I left my copy on my desk, so I'm going off my phone. I mentioned last month we had, we had our Alliance District meeting, which was very favorable, positive report. We also got an update from our representative. Our representative from the State Department of Education this year is Greg Dresko. I happen to know Greg from some of my coaching work down in Waterbury. I've done walkthroughs with Greg. I think he'll be very supportive and positive. He really attends to Alliance school districts, so he has a good understanding of that. And we have dates established. He will be out in mid-November, November 15th for a visit, okay? He'll be out March 15th, and then the end of year will actually be next July. And all of this will obviously be part of the transition to Dr. Luby, so she's aware. And she is aware that Winchester is an Alliance district, okay? Also, we had a meeting with Barbara and the coaches regarding the core knowledge language arts training and implementation. We had a little bit of a glitch with some repetitive stuff, but amazingly enough, our coaches as well as the principal really got in touch with the presenters and they adjusted. So the whole day was not lost. Teachers got a good presentation, even though the first half was somewhat repetitive. To that end, we are seeking that they owe us time now because we expected that this session in the fall would just pick up from where the last one left off. This was not kind of how do I say it? The example I use, it's not like the Netflix summary of the previous show where it lasts about 5 minutes and you get a flavor. This went on over an hour. And thanks to Barbara and the coaches, intervention was done. And thankfully, the presenters and the core knowledge people, language arts people adjusted accordingly, okay? But we, as far as I'm concerned, and I think our team is concerned, we're owed time now, given that that was not necessary for our staff. Our staff was ready to move. And that should speak volumes. Again, I'm here temporarily, so I'm kind of looking from the outside in, if you will. But I think that speaks volumes about our teaching staff and our leadership at the school, that they were like, hey, what is this? You know, we've done this. We're ready to move on. So I think, again, with Dr. Luby coming in, along with our transition, things should be very strong going forward, okay? The only update I have with building operations, the boilers have been installed, but they haven't been tested, correct?
All the technical stuff has to be linked up, and there's still stuff to do. They were delivered, they were put in place. There's still some connections to be made, so it's not that it is complete.
But they'll be ready to run when they're supposed to be.
Do we have a date on that?
Do have a date projected?
Dean and I traded phone calls today, so we were unable to connect, but I can certainly get you the information when we do connect, what their schedule is.
And I'll do a quick update on solar. We had a meeting with the mayor, the town manager, our board chair, Nora, Nancy, our finance person, and myself, and Paul, the town manager. So Kevin presented to us. So we had updated sheets, but there were some questions because it looks like the framing numbers that kind of set the schedule changed. So the consensus after discussion, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nora or Nancy, is it looks like we're gonna go out to RFP, okay? Paul feels that's the best way to go. Paul's also thinking of 2 RFPs, one for solar and one for the roof replacement at Pearson, okay? So that, I have to say honestly, with the original contractor, things are stalled. I've tried to reach him over the last 2 days. I know Nancy's, he left a email or voicemail for Nancy. I'm hoping to touch base with him. It doesn't exclude him. When the RFPs are posted, he can apply. Paul also feels, and I think everyone in the room concurred, the way to go was with the notion of a roof RFP as well as solar replacement RFP. So at least we're all on the same page. I don't know if there's any questions related to that. So we are in limbo. If, I don't want to project a timeline, but likely we'd be looking at the latter, second half of the school year. Because when you consider the RFPs, the proposals, the reviews, and then moving forward. But we have a consensus, so I think that's important. And I think although Kevin prepared a lot of materials, there were still a lot of questions, that just weren't, the kind of clarity I think that we were looking for was not there. And we asked questions, Nancy asked some questions about the financials. Paul, the town manager, asked some questions. I think at best the answers were general and vague. I don't think we got the kind of specifics we were looking for in that meeting.
Well, we also worried and talked about how reimbursements would happen between the town and the Board of Ed, and it got a little bit gray to us about how those processes would work in light of what is accounting principles. so, between the Board of Ed and the town. So it got a little muddy.
And just a reminder for the board, now that Dr. Luby's on, I would encourage you, as I'm going to encourage her, to think about your retreat, okay, for the coming year. And I'll close with the dates are on my report, so I'm not going to report those. The only change on that, we did, as Nora mentioned, we did settle on September 16th would be our first kickoff for teacher negotiation. So that's not on here, but it's not on here because it wasn't finalized when this report was generated. Lastly, just so you know, Dr. Luby is coming up to the district on Thursday. We arranged it today. She'll be here from 9 to 11. From 9 to 10, she'll be meeting with the leadership, the school leadership. So it's going to be the principals, Cassandra, myself, Dr. Luby, Darlene will sit in just to take minutes for us. Afterwards, she's meeting with our central office, Nancy, and also Charlene, who does all our Connecticut State Department of Ed data reports, because I think it's important for Dr. Luby to be aware with that. Joseph Aldi, our tech guy, will be joining us in that as well, and Darlene. So at that point, we hope to give her a glimpse of both the school site as well as the operations. And with that, I'll close my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeman. Okay, item B, monthly registration and staff vacancy report. Page 12.
So, sad news, very sad news, is our wondrous support service director has accepted a position in Glastonbury. I've only had the opportunity to work with Cassandra for July, August. She calls me constantly, I have to tell you. But having worked with someone like Ellen Stoltz for a lot of my career, and Ellen is someone I've always considered to be a preeminent special educator in the entire state of Connecticut. Sandra is just amazing, totally amazing. It's a big loss for the district, but Cassandra has been so gracious. She could have resigned prior to Labor Day. I asked if she would wait till after Labor Day. It didn't seem logical to me that we would post before Labor Day. During that time, I thought we would lose days. People wouldn't be paying attention. She was so gracious. So after Labor Day, she submitted her resignation. She's going to Glastonbury. Glastonbury is, you know, the antithesis of us in many ways. It's a wealthy district. It's a large district. But quite honestly, from what I've seen in the couple months I've worked with Cassandra, Cassandra is more than ready to take that on. And I do believe that we're going to hear from Cassandra in the future, because I believe, you know, her career with her skill set is, I'm sorry I'm going on, is on the rise. And
Not at all.
what we'll hope is that we can get an able replacement for her. We are leaving that posting open until we get a good, viable candidate pool. We've got several applicants, but realistically, we only really have a few that have the kind of experience that would translate. And also, I should share with you that I've had discussions with Dr. Luby regarding this. the selection of the support service special ed director has to be Dr. Luby's selection, not mine. So we will set it up. We'll set up the transition. We'll set up the interviews. But Dr. Luby will be hiring the next replacement for Cassandra.
Cassandra, you'll be missed. You're the most creative person, innovative person. I know Barb has supported you with innovative ideas and so forth, the reset room, and I still say you should be publishing the work and the research that you've done with students in helping our children move forward. A huge 180-degree difference from where we were prior to receivership. So you will be missed.
I want to thank, I came in receivership, that was my first year in Barb's building, and we worked together, and, we grew together, so it's bittersweet for me. I am very loyal. My partnerships with staff and most importantly, families, I think has really translated into better services for students, so thank you for your support.
Yeah, thank you.
Cassandra came to me and is crying that she's leaving. So, just so you
Only 'cause we're
know,
namesakes,
her-
a little bit.
Her love for the district, the kids,
Evident.
the staff,
Yep.
it's amazing. But you're gonna do great things. You will, so,
Very good.
all right.
Thank you. Okay, monthly report, registration, okay, school enrollment. Item C.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So, to date, 481. It's in your guide, sorry. Hinsdale, 158, Pearson, 323, Gilbert Special Ed, 62. Special Ed in-district, total sped population is 95, out-of-district is 28. Special Ed VOAG, out-of-district 6, and 0 out-of-district placement right now. So that's a total of 577 students as of August 31st.
What's the difference between out-of-district placement and special ed out-of-district enrollment?
What's that?
Yeah.
What's the difference
Are you
between
talking
this?
about the 603
and
out of district?
Yes, yeah.
That is when we share partner with DCF because students have been placed in a foster home out of our area.
603 is DCF, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Attendance record.
So, thus far,
Running absence.
we are averaging 95%, a little over. We gotta make these larger for my nearsightedness. Hinsdale's at 94, slightly under 95, and Pearson is 96.6, almost 97. And absenteeism, district-wide, we're at 8.3. Hinsdale's 10%, and Pearson 7%.
Okay, Gilbert enrollment.
Then you have your Gilbert enrollment. So Winchester enrollment in August was 423. It's increased to 438. Their international enrollment has dropped from 15 to 12. Other district enrollment has increased from 2 to 3. So to date, total enrollment of Winchester students, I'm sorry, of Gilbert students is 454.
29, okay. Year-end budget summary. Okay, item F, year-end budget summary.
Okay, Nance.
Okay. So in your board packet is your year-end 2024 budget summary. And if you take a look at the top page with the snapshot, you will see that we have a whopping $1,837 to go into our non-lapsing fund.
sorry, Nancy, so this, what you handed today is the
No,
update?
it's the one in your board
It is the
packet.
same, okay.
No, it's two different reports.
Oh, got you.
This is the year-end report for 2024.
In the packet, okay.
Yes, and that's the
Snapshot.
Snapshot.
2025
For August.
Oh, there it is, thank you.
today.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to make you aware of that. Also on the snapshot, there is a $10,000 balance in the capital fund, but that was the funding that the town set aside for the Gilbert group that Gilbert did not use. Unfortunately, we can't put that in our non-lapsing fund, so. And then we do have a healthy bit left over in the grants. We got some grants awarded, here's a grant last year, so that will help us going into this year. And some of the grants are very, very specific, so wasn't like we had a lot of latitude to utilize them.
Nancy, does the 10,000 just go back to the town?
Yes. It never left the town.
Oh.
That's a better way to look at it, yes.
Okay, never
Yes.
escaped.
Then if you go to the appropriated budget sheet, which is the third page, and, the big, items there were our special ed out of district kiddos that tipped it up, and the, professional technical services, which were legal services and outside evals for these new kiddos that have come in, our superintendent search, technology services, contracted substitutes, because we can't get our own. There's a real shortage of subs. And then the other was the workers' comp premium. There was a big adjustment in our workers' comp insurance with the new census that they did, with the new insurance company that we partnered with the town for, and the paid time off payments that went to various people who left the district. So, because that's in a number of contracts. And then if you take a peek at what I call the operating budget, which really includes all of the town support for education and the operating budget, it's quite a few pages in,
We're talking page 23 of the packet?
looks like this.
Yeah.
And we always use all of our town support for education funds. There's a mantra, we don't leave it on the table. And again, the lion's share of that went for property services, which we had decided to move into town support for education in totality, because we don't utilize the funds that the town is good enough to provide for us. And then the supplies that were left over were predominantly electricity. We did not know what was going to happen with the AC going into Pearson with a full year of fully operational Hinsdale School.
Right.
And then, in our partnering with the town, there was also a rate reduction for Pearson School, which took place mid-year, so that was very helpful to us.
So one of the things we talked about, how the Pearson gym has compressor problems, and that would cost for about $13,000 to fix the 4 compressors. Could any of this be used for that?
Any of the town support for education?
Yeah, anything, any savings here?
There are no savings.
Well, that's $1,800 down at the bottom. Never mind. Okay, so you already used it for, gotcha.
Yeah, for last year, yes.
That's too
This is last year, remember?
Yeah.
And then, we utilized all the grant money that we could, that was expiring, and there's something we couldn't use, but very little of it. And then there's other grant money that we were able to carry over for the terms of the grant, that then will go into this year, and in some cases, even next year. So, that'll be there for us to utilize. And lastly, well, not lastly, but getting close to the end of this one, was the
was that 46.8? Did that come out of our 660? Formerly 660, now at about
No, it
370.
had to come out of the appropriated budget. It has
The
to be a
appropriated
Board of
budget.
Education contribution to it.
Okay.
I know that when Gilbert was having trouble with their food service, they were in the red as well. They had contacted and actually had their lunch program taken over by Education Advance, maybe?
We do too.
Yes.
They run
They run our
our program.
program
Very
now. And
successfully for a number of years.
and now we're in the red on it, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but if you got any other ideas, toss them out. But
Yeah.
yeah, Ed Advance has been a real bargain for us. Looking at what they charge and what they've been able to do, they're wonderful partners.
They're at both schools.
Yeah, yeah.
So Nancy, so I understand that page 25, with the support, the subsidy, we came in the black, 2353.
Right.
$2,353.
Right.
And so the year effectively is closed at this time, would you say? You know, we're done.
Yes.
Okay, so then page 23, just so I understand the summary operating budget year ending August 2024,
So this is the.
$1,800, is that where we are? Is it closed?
$1,800?
yeah.
Until the auditors sign off on it.
Okay.
And they can mess with that from now until the end of January.
Okay,
So
all right.
that they can tweak around. But the other thing I wanted to call to your attention is the last page of the 24 report, because this is a report you've not seen before.
Yeah.
And it's one that was required with one of those statutes that the legislature passed. And that was one of the policies that we were looking at and sent over to legal for them to take a peek at it for us. So we're waiting to hear back from them on that one. But we are required to provide to the town, what does it cost to run the facilities? Because the town owns the buildings.
Right.
And so they're trying to ensure that the towns have an idea, well, what are the operating costs to run the facilities? And the town is very generous with us in doing a first plow through the road through the back of Hinsdale. But they don't have the manpower to do our lots for us, for example, because of when school has to open and when they have to have the roads cleared. They don't have enough manpower or equipment. So we do some of that ourselves, and then we also contract out, and we'll be putting that out to bid this fall. So
Okay.
it's just an example. So this is new.
Page 27 is
Yes,
new, yeah.
Take a peek at
Yeah.
it, and in case folks ask questions, because this report, with your approval, will need to go to the selectmen for the quarterly reporting that we're required to do to the town.
Do we need to make a motion for this, or?
No,
Okay,
Just more that you received it.
because it goes to the BOS.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the New Year report is skinnier. It gets lost.
Okay.
The New Year report, it's very fresh in the year. We're still going through contracts, putting these into the system, so there's a lot of the projecting that I do that's involved in this report, particularly this time of the year. So right now, where we're sitting, it is showing the projected year-end balance in the appropriated budget, but it won't be there long-term, I can assure you, with what I'm seeing coming down the horizon. We've got our big non-lapsing funds left.
Yeah.
And then moved into our grants. So, and Medicaid tends to zero itself out, so we'll see how we do with our Medicaid money this year.
So Nancy, from page 23, where we got $1,837, it just automatically now rolls into the following year. I mean, it's, and we don't need the BOS approval anymore.
No, you made the motion.
That's right.
at the last meeting and approved it.
Yep, to move it in, and this is our number. Okay.
Unless those auditors start messing with it.
Right.
So, and then, on the next page, the appropriated budget, if you look at it, again, this is the first blush, so we're looking at, the new superintendent coming in. I don't know what's in that contract, so I made an assumption of what's in there, for example, to get a projected year end. And then just looking at
you say, Nancy, that the VOAG students, those are the ones going to,
It's where it says purchase property services in the 5XX line. It's about a third down.
Other
on the
purchase
appropriated
services?
budget year to date. It says all other purchase services.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
VOAG.
look across there, you'll see that there's a, it's showing that, there's.
oh, I see,
Yeah.
VOAG tuition, 4 more students than expected, gotcha.
So-
Underwater there a bit.
Are those students that are going to regional or to
These are
Wamoga?
children that are going over to Region 7, the VOAG program.
Yep.
We're told there were gonna be 26, and now they're 30. So, that was the final number that came through.
Total 30 to Region 7?
Yes.
Okay.
And sometimes they, they'll ebb and flow, but typically they tend to be pretty static. And let's see, then the operating budget, again, we're looking and utilizing every single penny of it, so there's not a whole lot of latitude there. We'll be utilizing a good chunk of it in the property services line, which is the building maintenance and repairs. It was in the operating budget before. It's hard to put a lot of purchase orders in for things. You can do it for all your inspections and such, or specific projects, but it's also gonna cover what's gonna break. That's what's in there. The grants, again, we will carry over whatever we can. Right now, I'm projecting that we are not going to touch the 660 fund unless absolutely necessary.
Right.
So I'm carrying that balance at the moment, the safety net. And, that's where we are at the moment.
We talked about having a little bit of a mini workshop with
Yes.
members on the board, so that way we can kind of ask those questions and get some details for the budget. And hope you're still amenable to that idea, and we'll talk with the incoming superintendent to set up some times where persons can sit down and talk budget.
Yeah, unless you could put them in committee meetings if you want to, however you want to handle it.
Right,
It's
finance
fine.
committee?
Yeah. And
okay.
then, of course, if there are specific questions ahead of time,
Right.
then focus in on those too.
Okay. All right, thank you, Nancy. That was item G. Item 12, correspondence to the board, letters of resignation.
It's in your packet.
Yeah.
It's only- Yeah, Kelly Thurman has resigned. Was Kelly also doing was she our homeless liaison
homeless
as well?
liaison.
Yeah,
One of the reasons about the budget.
so we are
Obviously, we'll have to go back.
posting the homeless liaison position. We're also changing some of the requirements and essentially trying to make it open to anybody on staff that wants it. That's a stipend, is it not? She's a para, right? Kelly? What was her position? And special ed teacher Brenna Bork is moving on, and she's going to Farmington, and we negotiated with the superintendent of Farmington, and when are we releasing her? Did we release her yet? The 11th? Yeah. Jasmine Giles was our music teacher at Pearson. Again, she was taking a position in Derby. We were able to get a candidate. We negotiated with the Derby superintendent. I believe her last day was last Friday for us. Okay. Lisa Tulloch was a para at Hinsdale, and I'll best describe it. She resigned due some familial things. And that right now, did we get a candidate to replace?
We did.
Well, okay. And then obviously Cassandra, I don't even want to talk about that again. I think that's it.
We accept with much regret as a board in these resignations. Thank you again, Cassandra. And then new hires?
Yep, special ed teacher, at Pearson. Casey Palmer, also, who else do we have here? Cheryl Peterson, cafeteria worker at Hinsdale. Samantha, I'm gonna pass.
Morel DeBoyle, okay. Social worker.
Social worker at Pearson. That was a vacancy we had. I think it was originally a guidance vacancy. Is that the one? Right, and then we switched and posted for a social worker. We hired Linda White as a building substitute for Pearson. This gentleman, Armani Manrique, I did get that right, thank you. He took over for Jasmine Giles. He actually did 2 or 3 days transition with Jasmine. And the first day he came, he was dressed like a superintendent. You know,
Ready to
So-
go.
and the interesting thing is first name's Armani, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the funding source on this? Would this be general budget then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Jennifer Sacco, okay, she's a paraprofessional. She's also at Pearson. Funding source,
GB.
Okay.
Miriam Bingham. Did I pronounce that right?
Is it begin or Bagan?
Begin?
Just like it's
You
spelled.
shall begin. Okay.
And,
Early interventionist,
yeah, early intervention
Ginger Casati.
at
Hinsdale.
special ed at Hinsdale
Not
or?
special ed, like a general ed early interventionist because of like the needs, so she's doing a lot of the early literacy along with phonological processing with our speech and language pathologist. So it was a new position that was added, or reworked.
And we have Deidre Cusack.
Kusati. Kusati.
Kusati, Deirdre Kusati. She's a building sub/interventionist at Gilbert School. She's a retired teacher. Who taught at Region 7 for a while, so she's been a great addition.
Okay.
Great.
Can I just comment?
Sure.
Because I think this district does this very well. But Casey Palmer, who is a new hired special education teacher, as well as Samantha Brownwell, both paraeducators first. Casey got involved and wanted to, further her career, so she signed up to be a special education teacher, enrolled in school, and then we were able to have a possibility of de-staffing her into
Great,
this position.
great.
And Samantha had a bachelor's in social work, but wanted to get some experience, so she became a paraeducator. And now she's kind of on her way, so
Fantastic.
some more capacity building.
That's
in the
great.
district.
Building from within is fantastic. Thank you for that.
And, Mary
Franco.
Franco, grade 1 at Hinsdale. And that's GB, I assume, correct? And Jennifer Ryan, she's pupil services,
What's her
12.
position?
Operations manager.
Okay.
SGB as well.
What's Marielle Franco? What is her position? Marielle Franco, what's her position?
Is it grade 1?
Oh,
I don't know if she is.
long-term sub. She's grade 1.
That's what that says, is grade 1 long-term sub?
Yeah.
Okay.
Charlene was really busy.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Ryan,
Operations manager.
we just did that, right?
Yeah.
Operations manager. And Lucy Cristianello, third grade classroom person, teacher at Pearson GB, correct?
Okay. All right, and that's it, right?
Can I just ask a quick question? On Marielle Franco's days 1 through 40, and then days 41 plus, it's a step? Is that because of her qualification, or how does that work?
So we can bring her on as a sub, and after the 40 days, then we are required that she would be paid at the first step of the teacher's contract.
Thank you.
It's a fine balance. We try to get
Yeah.
people in as low as possible, but sometimes in order to get somebody, we have to use some flexibility,
Sure.
okay? Because obviously
Yep,
we're
pay
not the
for it,
highest paying
Freeman.
district.
Yep.
And when we get candidates, the goal is to fill the position, okay? And so we try to be flexible to ensure that we get somebody in.
Good. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, item 13, presentations to the board, SBAC overview.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this quickly. I'm
And-
gonna put it on the,
And Freeman, if you could use the microphone for the audience, we should start using that tonight. He's gonna project behind us, yeah?
Don't give us your password.
Hey, Freeman, watch your password might be showing.
So are those?
Your password, Freeman.
two-sided, please. Pass them around. I'm gonna put it, if somebody feels that print's too small.
Two-sided. I think one page per, right, two-sided? Okay.
So the first thing I'm handing out is the district, thank you, district reference group. We are in district reference group G. There are 16 districts, almost all alliance districts. Lovely. So, what I want, the two columns I really want to point out is level 1, which is this column here. So these are the percentages of kids not meeting, okay? And this is for the entire district, Winchester. What I tried to do is I tried to show every other district in red so you could see a contrast. The really important category to pay attention to is this. This is the percentage of our students that have met or exceeded the goal, the state standard. And I'm not going to show you rankings just yet, but you can see there are 16 districts. By the way, this bottom one is Gilbert. TGS is Gilbert, because I know at least one board member had inquired from me about seeing Gilbert data. So district reference groups is where they basically analyze your school district based on districts that are similar. But if you look at the populations, okay, we're relatively small, obviously. And there are districts that are enormous, like Bristol, 3,500 kids, okay? I'm not gonna go through each one, but you can see for English language arts, 46.5% of our students, okay, were at the goal or exceeded the goal.
Freeman, can you remind the board what grades test SBAC? Grades 3 through?
3 through 6. This is
Okay.
comprehensive 3 through 6 data.
Okay.
I do have a presentation that shows Pearson data broken down against the state. But I wanted you to look at this because I think what's important here, these are all alliance districts. So this is showing you our performance, okay, with respect to other alliance districts.
And when we talk about Gilbert, the Gilbert School on the back page there, 162, that's grades 7 and
And
8. Okay,
Only.
only, exactly. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it is hard to compare this data with our data, but at the curriculum committee meeting, we're hoping that the principal, I shouldn't say principal, Barbara, will show you a growth model. And what we should be able to do is compare last year's sixth graders with this year's, let me rephrase that. Sixth graders from 2023 with seventh grade from 2024, which would be Gilbert. Is that correct?
I don't know that I have access to Gilbert data.
I think I do now.
Okay.
We'll try.
We can do that if we
Okay.
have access.
So this is a general average of how the kids did
It's
from
the
last
percentage
year.
of students that met or exceeded the
Right.
expectation for grade level.
Right. So what I think that, as we continue to keep moving this up, right, the percentage of children, what I would like to know is that it is almost equal in English language arts and math, that there's not a huge difference.
Pretty close.
That's really good, yeah.
Performing.
So there are several ways to present the data off the site, depending on what you're really looking for. We can show trend data, okay, for the entire district over 5 years. Or we can show trend data by breaking it down by grades, et cetera, okay? The thing you have to remember about your data generally, okay, it's a different population of kids at each grade every year. So one of the reports we can still generate is a cohort report, right? So looking at a cohort report means you
Right.
can look at the same group of students over time, yeah. Okay.
The other variable is the number of kids you're testing, right? So the smaller your district, the more impactful one student's performance is on the whole percent than many kids. So there's a varying degrees of, numbers here within the DIRG.
You remember we had 3 or 4 students come into the districts in May.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Two of whom had never been in school.
that's right,
Wow.
that's right.
Yeah, true cohort data, you're really trying to disaggregate kids who came in or kids who left, and it's kids that have been stable. That's, the ideal.
So when was the test taken? I'm sorry, this is spring,
May.
May? Yeah, okay. May 2024.
And
This-
then, just, sorry,
Go ahead.
and then they take it again so it's 3 through 6 and then just 8, right? 8th
Or-
grade? It's not 7.
7 and 8.
They do 7th and 8th?
Over at Gilbert.
And 11
then-
for NGSS, which is the science.
But that's not part of this, that's
No,
different, right?
That's wholly different. So we're looking at 3 to 6, and then when it says Gilbert here, it's 7 and 8.
Got it.
So this
Thanks. Pearson.
is Winchester Pearson. They call it Winchester, but obviously it's Pearson. And this is laid this out for you. The top line basically compares Pearson whole school with the state for those grades. Okay? Then I've broken down Pearson grade 6 with the state average grade 6. Pearson grade 5 with the state average grade 5. Pearson grade 4 with the state average grade 4. And finally, Pearson grade 3 with the state average of grade 3. So overall, state is slightly higher in math and very slightly lower in English language arts. As is very common when you're looking at SBAC data, you do get like ebb and flow between grades. Because again, it's a different population of kids, okay? I think the most compelling thing for me is this.
Yeah.
Freeman, what does SDE stand for?
I'm sorry?
What does SDE stand for?
State Department of Ed.
That's your state
Education.
average. That's the state average, the SD.
So what I did was I took the data. Since we're measured against our DIRG, this is our DIRG rankings, okay? Based on the data that was available. So Winchester ranked number 4 in English language arts. I do want to say, and I hope that this isn't the case, but you know, just from my experience, we have a new English language art program coming in. Okay. I would say, okay, hopefully not, but when you implement a new program, there tends to be some regression. Okay, it's kind of natural. It's a new program for teachers. It's new for the kids, etc. It takes a little time to develop the expertise. Hopefully, that's not going to be the case. Okay, hopefully that's not going to be the case. But I feel it important to put that on your radar. Okay, because if you do see a regression, you have to remember we're implementing a brand new English language art program. And we're not doing it like research might show. You do it in grade 1, the first year, grade 2, the second year, grade 3, etc., so that the implementation follows the kids. Okay, you get a total score. We're doing everybody's in. Okay, and it's a K-6 program, correct, Barbara? K-6. So this is, okay. So that's good, okay. Where might we see the regression? It's hard to tell, but maybe at the upper end, because it's brand new versus the lower. That's all speculation. I'm just, you know, experience when you're implementing a new curriculum, there's usually, there's 2 aspects. Teachers don't necessarily move the same, at the same speed in terms of implementation. Some people may take a little bit longer, etc. To that end, we've discussed with the principals that the first third of the year, we really want teachers to get really comfortable with the curriculum. Okay, not to feel pressure from observations, evaluations, etc., etc. Just, you know, utilize the training that they're given, get comfortable with the curriculum and the delivery, and very important, within grades, collaborating, discussing, sharing practices. Gee, this worked for me. Hey, this didn't work. And that's why we also have our coaches there, for them to basically intervene to support. If I move to the math column, there should be a big smile on everybody's face. And Joe Wick Carey's a colleague of mine. He's superintendent in Vernon. He was superintendent of the year last year. Joe and I worked together when I was in Shelton. He was in Wolcott. We worked together when he moved to Vernon several years ago. So Vernon is way up there. And not by a lot, but we edged them out in math. So I believe that's a huge accomplishment. It really speaks to Melanie's leadership. It really speaks to your school leadership, particularly Barbara, your coaches, and your staff. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through details on this because I tried to make this comprehensive so you could spend some time looking at it. At the curriculum meeting, we'll do another SBAC presentation. I also think it might not be a bad idea to give a brief overview of the Core Knowledge Language Arts program so that you guys are familiar with that. But you can also research that online as well. Okay.
I'd just
So-
like to celebrate with the community here, because I think the community needs to understand, we're at the top of a DERG here for math. I think that's fantastic, that's unbelievable, and I know
Yeah.
we've had awards with math in the past, so I think this
Fourth.
continues.
You're fourth in English
That's
language
right,
arts.
that's right.
Within your DERG.
I think both are fantastic.
And there's 16 schools in there. So you are in the upper quarter of that, upper quartile. So I think that's, it really speaks to what the board has supported over the last several years, Mel's leadership, and certainly the work Barbara's done with her staff and the coaches, et cetera, et cetera. I frequently tell people, in the receivership, we were kind of establishing pillars where the district really needed to build infrastructure, okay? We weren't here long enough to do more than that, but, curriculum, different things. And then Mel, Barbara, the staff, okay, built the infrastructure. Because that ultimately is what sustains over time. And now, with the new implementation of core knowledge, okay, you're changing, you're adding to the infrastructure. It's research-based, based on the science of reading. So, the research shows that it is a positive English language arts program. Wasn't the only one to select, okay? Each district selects something that their staff, I think, I don't want to speculate, but, there's involvement in there, there's discussion, there's presentations, and people say, okay, this is what we think will work for us, okay? But, again, I think I said to the board a couple months back, this district has moved light years from the receivership, okay? And while it should be celebrated by everyone here, it needs to be celebrated by everybody out there.
That's right.
Yes.
It really does. The data I like to use, and it was true when I was in Shelton, okay, places like China, India, Pakistan, okay, they only educate their best and brightest. That's what those countries do, because those countries have such widespread poverty, okay, and in poverty, they cannot educate everyone. In America, we essentially educate everyone, okay? There are people that decry that we're losing our place internationally, okay? But I gotta tell you, you take those three countries, who are they educating? Their best and their brightest. Why is that a problem for us in the United States? Their best and brightest in those countries are more than all the students we have in schools in the United States. So that's what we're competing against. And I think, I'm older, I'm an older generation than you guys, right? Maybe by 2, like with John. I'm a couple generations older than John. Okay, no problem being young, John, okay? But my point is, okay, my family are World War II vets, okay? So we remember what it was like post-World War II, but the world has changed, okay? And for us to compete internationally, okay, we need to basically support all our kids getting the best education possible. It's really critical. And the numbers drive it, if nothing else, the population. Also, when I left Shelton, because we were really big on STEM, one of the reasons we were in STEM, United States imports more engineering students than we basically
Educate.
produce
That's right,
within the states.
yeah.
And the majority of those engineering students, when they leave, they go back home to their country.
Right.
The majority of them do not stay here. Okay, so when you look at some of the development that has happened in countries we used to consider third world, et cetera, okay, it's because of their model. Their model doesn't work for us, okay? But their huge populations kind of default them into the model that they have. So it's something for us to think about, okay? But you can go to places in China and you will not see any education. You can go to other places in China and it's like, oh my God, what's this about? When I was here 7 years ago, Gilbert had a ton of students, most from China, mostly from China, if I remember, international students. Okay, not now. So I'm gonna stop there,
Well-
I think.
Well,
I've done
on
enough
behalf of
preaching.
the board, our hat goes off to everybody that's responsible for these scores, because I think this is amazing. I really do. I think this is fantastic work, you guys. It's unbelievable effort. Thank you, Freeman.
That's good.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, David.
Item 14, committee reports. We do have an ad hoc superintendent search committee, but I think it's not disbanded yet until that contract is signed.
Oh, jeez.
All right, we will, though, in the next month's meeting, vote to disband that. We also still have an ad hoc security group committee report, a committee, an ad hoc temporary committee. We're just, no report?
No report.
Okay. All right, new business. Well, we did new hires. Okay, policies. Sandra?
Okay, so I think the first order is we need to send some of these policies back to committee. And so I need a motion to send 8. These policies are not numbered, but they're numbered according to order. So 8, 11, 16, 24, 29, and 32, because they need more review.
Oh, yeah, you guys can take off.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all set. Thank you,
Bye.
admin. Yeah.
Bye, good luck, Cassandra.
Oh, the buttons to turn that off.
Oh, we know. We got it.
You
2 of them.
remember?
Two of them, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Okay, thank you. So you want to repeat that?
I'll make that motion.
Thank
Do
you.
you want to go over why?
Well, some of
8,
them we
11,
have
16,
to,
24, 29,
some we
32.
have to send back because one of them, it was implemented, but something needs to be changed. A couple of them are wording. I don't need to go into detail, I don't think. It's just we need to send them. Do you want to add to that? If you can, if you want.
Number 8, Melanie took out of the packet beforehand. It was already adopted in September 2007. The new Shipman and Goodman was the same as it was in CABE. So Melanie pulled it out, so we don't need it because it's already in existence. 11 goes back, bus transportation, because we adopted it in 2022. Melanie left that out of the
Let's just
packet.
send them back.
Well,
So
homeless
same.
children, the liaison resigned. Student discipline, optional language we need to talk about.
Right.
Threats return, and then finally, transportation, because Shipman's policy is 1 mile or better,
Right, and it needs to be half.
half a mile's CABE's policy for little ones. If they're below a half a mile, they can walk.
So we need to talk about it.
Shipman's policy is if they're below a mile, they can walk. So, yeah, that needs to go back.
They are hard taskmasters. So can I get a second on that, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in
got-
favor?
Got the first?
Sal.
Okay.
Tori was first. Okay. All right, so I think we can vote on a block of these, but I would like to take out 1, 2, and 4 to be voted on separately, and then we can vote the rest as a block. If that's okay with everybody. 1, 2, and 4. To move it back to committee.
Do you, having put on the parking lot 1, 2, and 4, do you want to make a motion to move the others? Or do you want to do
We
1,
can,
2, and 4?
yeah, no, why don't we make a motion to move 3 through 34 minus the ones moved back to committee and minus 1, 2, and 4. We can vote on it as first read.
Let's itemize for the record.
Okay, you ready, Jeanette?
Yep.
Number 3, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 33, and 34. Okay, do I have a motion to vote on those policies?
Motion to move to second read. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Tori?
All in favor?
Okay, that's 7 to 0.
7-0.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, so we have policy 1, policy 2. Both of these are Title IXs. One is Sex Discrimination and Harassment 5000 series. One is Title IX Sex Discrimination and Harassment 4000 series. So why don't we deal with number 1 first? I want to preface, before we go into discussion and vote, that with Title IX, these are 2 policies. These are 2 that were hard fought for females, for girls. And I also want to say that all children should be protected, including trans children. Nobody should be bullied. Nobody should be harassed. But I do object to these being rewritten at the cost of girls. So for that reason, I'll open it to discussion, and then we can make a motion to vote. Does anybody want to further anything on Title IX 5000 series?
The 5,000 and the 4,000, just so everybody knows, they're peas in a pod. One is personnel, the
And one is
4,000 is
children.
personnel, the other is for students, okay? They're virtually identical.
Correct.
And a lot of it has to do with the definition of what is sex-based harassment, which has been around for a long, long time.
Yep.
So that hasn't changed. Quid pro quo, hostile work environment, and teachers get their training in it. The other part of the policy does speak about procedural things, if there's a report of sexual harassment. And so the definitions are in there to help persons. And we've identified our Title IX coordinator. Every district has to have a Title IX coordinator. Because as you can see, this is a voluminous policy. So it's very important to follow the procedures, because a lot of the procedures are guided to us by the federal government.
Yep.
So we are compelled to follow the federal law. We had that meeting, if you remember, in policy, when we had this committee meeting. And our guidance from our own attorney is to keep the language as such, because if we was to ever be challenged, the district would be vulnerable, exposed, and we would pay a lot of lawyers' fees in the case or what have you if we don't follow what is recommended by our own board attorney. So I think it's imperative that we follow what the recommendation is.
Yep.
Despite our personal opinions, we're a fiduciary organization with the community as a whole. We're responsible to every single student in this community. So while we certainly can express our individual opinions on that, I think it's important to keep the district safe, to keep the finances secure, and not expose us to potential issues that might be coming at us. And especially since both series are identical, virtually identical, I think it's imperative to keep both in the same level of organization and that sort of thing.
I will say as an addendum, though, that while these policies are meant to also protect the district from liability, these policies implemented are also opening up districts for liability. So it is a very, I would say, two-edged sword in terms of policy.
Gilbert adopted the Title IX policy, so they're, as we talk about our kids, they're moving into 7 through 12, and so they've got a similar policy, though CABE. So for us to change this, which is from the Fed, yet Gilbert supporting and voting in their CABE policy, which I'm sure is from the Fed. I'm not sure how well it would stand up for us, but.
I don't like the idea of taking our morals away, or my morals away, because I'm afraid of a lawyer and what they might do to us. I don't agree with that at all. I will refuse to do it. That's why I'm not voting for this. I don't, like I said 100 times, I'm just gonna say it quickly one more time. Just the whole thing about changing every policy now, from a pregnant woman to a pregnant person, because and it's coming down the line where we're going to start seeing in our policies, instead of breastfeeding, chest feeding, and it's going to have real world implications sooner than later. And like Sandra said, to second her, it will open us up the other way to, I'm sure of that, to litigation the other way. So, thank you.
I don't see the policy as such. I think Shipman did a great job in trying to protect all persons in the community. But
If we get a student claim or a staff claim on a sex-based discrimination, okay, then automatically the law kicks in.
Correct.
The process that we outlined for you guys that night, we would have to undertake, personal feelings aside. We would have to follow that.
Yes.
Failure for us to do so not only exposes the district to liability, if we have a suit, okay, could also affect the town in terms of finances. So I'm not, as superintendent, I don't make a judgment. I can't tell you vote this way or that way, okay? All I'm saying is the default mode, whether I like it or not, I've got to default to the law. And failure to do so, then I'm opening up the district, okay? Because now I'm not only speaking from your perspective as a board member, talking about as a superintendent who's responsible to operate the district, Dr. Luby, who's going to be responsible to operate the district. Failure for me to follow the law in investigating a student sex-based complaint or an adult staff member sex-based complaint opens us up to a suit.
Sure.
And if we get sued, even if we could win, I'm not saying we're going to lose, okay, I'm not saying if we're going to win. Anyone who's been involved in liability litigation knows it's like rolling the dice. But what I can guarantee you, we're going to pay buku money in attorney costs,
Sure.
attorney fees.
And I think-
I think that's something you have to think about. In my opinion, there are no districts out there, not even Fairfield County, not even the Gold Coast, that can afford that stuff anymore, okay? There was a time 10, 15 years ago, okay, that those districts, had all kinds of wealth, didn't really care how they spent their money. Throughout Connecticut, regardless of whether a district's considered conservative, liberal, or moderate, right? All districts, just read the papers, are tightening their belts when it comes to, sorry
maybe their
about that.
butts.
Tightening their belts when it comes to fiscal responsibility. It's just the reality we're in right now. So again, I can't advise the board, but I just want you to know, if there's a suit, we're bound to investigate in accord with the law.
Sure. with the law. And I think that, you know, it's sad to me because this is a very important, Title IX is very important. I mean, it deals with so much of women's hard-fought rights that has taken a long time. And so it's too bad that this is being used as a political football. But I understand not wanting to use our town also as a test case. So I just wanted to say that, you know, everybody needs to vote according to their conscience and how they feel as advocates for parents too. So is there any more discussion, or shall we put it to a vote? I want to finalize it though, Nora, because
Yeah.
I think it's often misinterpreted when you say that Title IX, again, every child needs to be protected, including trans children, but again, not at the cost of girls. So I feel like we should take the vote and move on.
Sure, we certainly can take the vote, but I do agree that Title IX has been historic.
Yeah.
And in fact, it transformed persons' expectations of women in sports. And I think that's fantastic. And I think it's challenging us to transform our thinking about individuals that are in our community that we finally recognize. And I think that when we talk about this as political football, I think that's fear-mongering. And I feel that's unfortunate. I think this is a well-written policy. I think the issue we have then is with the federal government.
Oh, absolutely.
And we, again, have an obligation.
Executive orders that are just written in. Again, a political football, it's not meant as, because it is political football. It keeps being kicked around at the cost, again, of children. You know, so there are solutions to these issues. Once again, not at the cost of girls. So, is there a motion to vote on this 400 or 4,000 series?
You want to take
5,000
four,
series.
you want to take 5 and 4 at the same time?
We can take 4 and 5 at the
Because they're virtually
same time.
identical?
Sure.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yes, thank you, Jeanette.
I make a motion to accept 1 and 2, or Title
Or to-
IX, 4,000,
Do you want to
5,000.
second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Jeanette. All right, all in favor? Opposed? Abstention? This motion carries.
Okay, this last one is number 4, child sexual abuse and assault. I know we mentioned that we want to go along with the state's wording so that but it does not change. What page is that one?
Page 130, is it? Number 4.
Yeah, number 4. Page 130.
It's a short policy, believe it or not.
Mm,
It goes to page 135.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's fairly, I'm looking for the part though, where we had decided that we were going to add expectant mothers along with pregnant persons.
Yeah, to be consistent.
Yeah, consistent with the state. I don't agree that the state is correct in this. We could change it if you'd like to pregnant employees, but I feel like pregnant persons is a slippery slope.
What letter is that?
I'm looking, because I did not circle it in this new package of,
What are we on? 4?
where is it, Tor?
Hold on.
talking about page 130 to 135.
Sorry, guys. Speedy reading.
Let's see anything about, this is, sexual abuse.
I don't even see it in here.
I don't think it's in here,
It said in the minutes from the last committee meetings, it was in
Yeah.
child sexual abuse and assault.
but I don't think it's in here.
Well, there are two policies, suspected abuse and neglect of children, and then child sexual abuse and assault.
What
But
page do you have child
from the
sexual abuse and
minutes of the
assault?
last committee meeting, it says child sexual abuse and assault, and then it talks about that.
Is it the
Yeah.
4,000 series or 3,000, 5,000?
The minutes did not specify.
Okay,
That is
because the
child sexual abuse and assault.
So it is this one.
5,000, that's
How
what
come-
you're talking about, but I don't see what
How
you're
come I
referring
cannot
to.
find it.
So is it the one that we were at the board, brought back from the board, back to committee, and then pushed into first read?
Yes.
Because we talked about how the state of Connecticut inserted, and we thought it didn't do that? Okay, so that was a policy that we passed just now, if that's the one you're talking about. Let's go to number 3,
Let's go to
suspected
policy.
abuse. Suspected abuse and neglect, 98 to 129, or, sorry, 98 to 129. It's the 4,000 series. Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, according to our minutes, it's the other policy, but let's look this one.
What page is it?
We are on 98.
So 98 to 129, if that change you're talking about, that we had discussed, it's on page 119, and we passed it just now when we
Yeah.
passed all of them together collectively, all the motion 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
Right,
Is that what you're talking about? It's under note, the bullet,
Oh, yeah.
is that what you wanted, or do
So
you
our-
want the 5,000 series?
Okay, so then our minutes are wrong, because according to our minutes, it's this policy.
That's all right, it's only going to a second read here.
Correct.
So let's just
Yep, all right.
move on.
So what do you want to do, what do you want to do about the 5,000 series number 4, which is what you thought it was?
Sorry, Jeanette.
It's okay. $130 to $135.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move that to second read.
Okay. Until we can figure out why there's a mistake in our minutes, and we might have to revise our minutes. Thank you.
I didn't see a mistake in the minutes, but we'll take a look at them.
Yep.
All right, so Tori first, pass number 4, child sexual abuse on the 5,000 series. Jeanette, your second,
To second read.
to second read. All right, all in favor of moving item 4, child sexual abuse, it's assault 5,000? Okay, that's 7 to 0. 7 to 0.
All right, that's it then.
Okay, that's taken care of.
Gonna have to figure out what the mistake
All
was.
right, last item, item 13, public comment. Okay, I'm gonna read the rule. So
Really?
I don't think we're gonna have people here. All right, anybody wishing to speak, you can put your name and everything else there. Anybody wishing to speak, no one's here for the record, for people at home. Okay, so I see no one wishing to speak. So we move to adjournment, and, all right, yeah, anybody wishing to adjourn by motion at 9:10 PM?
So moved.
Jonathan, anybody else?
Second.
Tori, all in favor of adjournment at 9:10? Okay, not so bad, everybody.
Not so bad at all, guys.
Not with
thought it would be
this
longer.
stack of,
Yeah.
Freeman, was this your last board meeting?
What's that?
Wow,
This was your last board meeting?
that's right.
Probably, yeah.
Well, you'll be consulting with us
Yeah.
and helping the transition per
Yeah.
agreement,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
while before everyone leaves, I'm